It is the Ides of July, July 15th, 2010, and it's time for a garden update. Over here in the corner, we have our watermelon plants growing. We have two different kinds here. The dog's going to start barking soon. And there are some baby watermelons around. Let's see. Here's one. That one's pretty tiny. Then I noticed one was growing over by the fence over here. So I'm just going to kind of pull it out a little bit. Kind of looks like a watermelon. Pretty cute. I think so far. Oh no, there's a baby one over there too. Bailey, get out of that. Come on. For a while it was just the first plant that had some. This is our grape. Our grape is one of the plants that the Japanese beetles unfortunately liked. And I'm not sure we're going to keep it. If we keep it, we're going to have to do some terracing work with it to get it to grow up instead of out. But we can do that later. Here are blueberry plants, happily growing blueberries. You can see quite a bit of them on the ground. I don't think they're falling off on their own. I think that some birds or squirrels are coming over here and playing with them, but obviously I have some I need to pick today, and I will. This is our first bed where we originally were growing our first things like spring peas and lettuces and that kind of thing. You can see we still have quite a few greens here. The kale is still growing pretty well. And there's some lettuce that's been hanging around that we're going to eat probably today in a salad. The mustard greens have been our favorites over here. A lot of this stuff is really just ready to be done. I have this ugly broccoli that I've left there because it's shading the lettuce that's growing underneath, so I know that's more than done. And this is our biggest giant tomato. I actually chopped about half of it off, but you can see it's just about ready for us to pick our first little pear tomato. Okay, this is raised bed number 2. In the front here you can see sweet potatoes pouring over the sides. I'm not really sure how to grow potatoes. I've never done that before. And I tried pulling one up the other day and it was really tiny, so I know they're not ready yet, but I don't know, are we supposed to like chop off the plants at some point? I'm not sure. And we have strawberries, and you can see how their leaves were decimated as well by the beetles. But we're still getting strawberries from time to time from here, so that's pretty exciting. The other day we found a secret growing cucumber, which has a spider on it right now. So the cucumber vines have been vining around and finding the places that they want to grow, which is kind of funny. There are some lemon cucumbers growing too, back here. Can't wait for that one, that'll be exciting. Okay, but here are our problem plants. You can see something happened where half the corn decided it didn't want to grow upward anymore. I have no idea why. I've been keeping it well watered. Nothing's growing up it to pull it down. It's like it just didn't want to stand up on its own. But some of the corn has some frondy stuff. It looks like some ears are starting to grow. So I guess I'm not really sure what went wrong there. I tried propping them up yesterday and that didn't do any good. So, yeah, I'm going to have to check with some friends on that. I have no idea. Okay, Bailey is eating a tomato off the plant. That's nice. But that brings us to bed number 3. And this is where a lot of our tomatoes ended up, especially the heirlooms. We've kind of had some hit and miss with some of these. This plant in particular, this first one here, grew a really big mushy one that was unappealing. This one, I think these tomatoes probably need to be picked. The birds have been picking at them, so they don't look very pretty right now. The squashes are growing very dramatically. But we do have some baby butternut squashes throughout the bed. Looks like we're down to 3. I'm not sure how they disappear or where, but we also have melons growing in this bed. basically muskmelons, kind of like the southern version of cantaloupes. So that'll be exciting. I'm still pretty much squashing beetles on a regular basis in this bed. You know, organic gardening. So we'll see what happens. My yellow squash plants aren't getting enough sun, I don't think. And this tomatillo plant just needs to go. I learned too late that I needed to have planted two, so while it's growing huge, it's never going to produce anything because I didn't have two of them. Over here by the house, around the back, we have a raised bed that was actually grown for flowers, or built for flowers. Never got any flowers into it, so I put the leftover tomato plants that I'd grown from seed in here. So I think we'll have two more yellow pear and two Amish paste tomato plants over here. Right now everything's green, and I've been cutting off the tops because they've been growing so big, and we want them to start putting the energy into the tomatoes themselves. And I also put some leftover herbs here. This area doesn't get as much sun, so I think the herbs actually like that. Clearly I have some harvesting I need to do of the basil. Probably make some pesto this weekend. This is what raspberry plants look like after Japanese beetles have gotten to them. These are just decimated. I'm not really sure what we're going to do. Might just chop them down. Don't tempt the bugs next year. You know, when they first started growing, they had beautiful berries that were starting to ripen, and then everything went downhill from there, so I'm not going to do that again. And of course over here we have the herb bed. That's how much the lemongrass has grown back, even though a week and a half ago I cut it down at the base and harvested it and dried it for tea. I did that yesterday with the peppermint, so it's missing in the corner. But the pineapple mint is still there, along with a lot of basil. We've unfortunately discovered that cinnamon basil is a little spicy for our tastes, so next year we'll probably grow a different kind other than the regular. I think the fennel might need to be harvested, but honestly don't know enough about it. It's getting kind of flowery and seedy at the top. Let's see. There's some sage, and the oregano and thyme are growing into each other. There's a little bit of parsley in there. Next year I should plant half parsley because of how much I use it. And then the chives are kind of dangling in the back. They are kind of shorter. I should have planted them in front.